Hi everyone, it's Bev DeBono, and I have page kit number 8 to work with us for this Zoom. Okay, Creative Memories came out with this great concept called page kits. And every month you get a page kit if you've signed up for the series or if you want to order them. And every month you can get a page kit that is complete with background papers, stickers. So you get 2 sheets of a background paper already pre-done for you, and then 1 sheet that is a cutaway sheet for mats, and it has all of the lines and tells you exactly where to cut to make this creation. You also get a strip of stickers, and you also get the idea sheet or the sketch. And so what I want to do is show you how you can make Simple Page Kit number 8, because we'll make the actual kit first, and then I will take the directions or the measurements and show you how you can make a totally other page using the exact same measurements. So you see this is the same page as this one. And this page here is spring, and it used birds and blossoms. And again, I love the stripe. So page kit 8, I really like because it uses the stripe. It showcases a stripe down both sides of the paper. And I like working with stripes. Sometimes they are harder to work with because they are a very dominant pattern. However, when you cut it and use it as a border, it really flows throughout your whole page. Okay, so first I'm going to do the actual page kit number 8. I will give you some of the measurements along the way. And I will definitely then create another one using Relax into Summer. Okay, let's pull out page kit number 8 for those of you who have it. We have our 2 base pages, which are our tonals. And if you're creating this on your own, you're going to need a base page, a 12 by 12. And then they have an inner page here, an inner page, which is another layer. Okay, so when I hold it up, you can actually see the different colors so that you have another layer. Now, I just want to say that that is optional if you are doing yours using other papers. I did put an inner base on this Birds and Blossoms one because it was a nice tonal background. But on the one I'm creating uh, with this Zoom, I am not going to be putting this inside base. So that is optional. I just want to make sure that that you know. All right. The two stripes are 2 inches by 11 inches. Okay, so let's flip over the mat section, and we are going to cut it. You see all of the lines where we can cut our papers. And I'm going to cut on the line between 2 and 3 and 4. All right, and I am lining it up right on my cutting line on my trimmer. If you're not sure where your cutting line is, then by all means take out your plastic piece that's nestled way under the top of your trimmer, under the blue gauge here, the carriage. Use your multi-purpose tool and then bring it out. On that plastic piece, there is a little black line, and when you slide it up and down, you can see exactly where your blade is going to cut. So if you're off by a little, I just shimmy it over just a little bit so that it matches up with that black line. And there's also another one nestled underneath the bottom, and you would just slide that up from the bottom, and there is that plastic. It's a plastic carriage. Okay, so mine seems to be lined up, so I'm cutting straight through. Okay, and then I'm cutting between 3 and 4. I'm putting that on my cut line and cutting between 3 and 4. All right, these measure 4 by 6. 4 by 6. Okay, now I'm putting it back in my trimmer, and I'm cutting between 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And I'm lining it up to make sure that I have placed it right on my cutting line. Okay, and those measure, the long pieces measure 9.5 by 4 inches. I'll go over all these measurements with you when we recreate our own piece. Okay, and then I'm moving it to the side and then doing my final 2 cuts. Okay, so just a few cuts with your trimmer. You are ready to assemble. All right, I'm putting this right on my 13 by 13 mats. The 2 longer pieces, which are 4 inches by 9.5, are going to line up on the bottom at about 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, 1 inch from the bottom on both sides. All right, I'm just going to put tape on the back of these. Oh, I need tape. Okay, so they are lining up 1 inch from the bottom, and they go right into your middle piece here. Okay, 1 inch up from the bottom. Okay, and now your 4 by 6 pieces are going to go at about, oh, I think I had them at 2 inches from the top and 1 inch over. 2 inches from the top and 1 inch or half an inch over. Oh, I can do 1 inch. Yeah, 2 inches from the top and 1 inch over from the centers. And these are 4 by 6s. Okay, so 2 inches down from the top, 1 inch over. And when you have your cutting mat, just like that, you can certainly see where you're lining it up. And if you want to make sure that your next page is lined up right at the 2 inch mark, sometimes I'll just put my ruler across. And I know that that's going to be lined up at the 2 inch mark. Okay, and now the 2 smaller pieces are measure 2 by 4. And these can become nice little title boxes, or you can decorate them. Okay, how fast is that? This page has come together very, very quickly. All right. Now, if I'm going to decorate it exactly how they have the suggestions, all right, I'm going to add the sticker strip along the inside. I'm going to put it right over the edge of my stripe there. Okay, I'm just going to overlap the edge of my stripe. And this is, if you're going to use paper, half an inch by 12 inches. Half an inch by 12 inches. And it's going to line up right at the 2 inch mark. Half an inch by 12 inches. and just right at the edge of that stripe, right on top of it. And there we go. Okay, if you want, you could move it over. It's certainly, you know, up to you. Okay, now on the upper left, I am putting the words, life is sweet. This is exactly what's in the sketch. We're doing what's in the sketch here. Life is sweet. I'm going to put the sun, top that up with some foam. That's going to go right at the upper left, right by life is sweet. Okay, and then I'm going to put some watermelon with a couple little watermelon cubes. Maybe I'll tuck it under the T for sweet a little bit. Just lift it up with your multi-purpose tool. Tuck it under that. And a little bit, some watermelon cubes. Very cute. And now in the middle, because sometimes you want to have something that goes right in the middle and also something down on the bottom. So you've got some clusters. So in the middle here, they had the watermelon with the heart in it. And I'm just touching the polka dots and then also some watermelon cubes. Okay. And now on the right-hand side, on the bottom, I'm putting the beach chair, this nice relaxing beach chair or summer chair, right there on the bottom. And when you're putting your stickers, sometimes you want them to touch a little bit so that they're not random, but that they form a little cluster. I'm putting the little picnic blanket that's all rolled up. And then on the upper right, the words here, smiles for miles. I have that popped up on foam. And then I've got some of the watermelon popsicles, the flower, and a couple more watermelon cubes. So a great concept. These are very fast pages, and they are called simple kits. Simple kits. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to take my dual tip pen. I'm using brown in this case, and I'm using the side that's the thicker point. Our dual tip pens have a thin, fine tip and a dual tip that's a little bit thicker. And I use these to just add a little bit of dots to the titles and sometimes just around the stickers, just to give it a little bit of movement. Okay, mostly around the titles. Okay, and there we go. Page Kit 8 is complete. Now let's make Page Kit 8 using a totally different collection. So I already showed you the one I had done with birds and blossoms. And I want to continue to use the stripe that's on the side. So I selected one that's from a very recent collection called Relax into Summer. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be working with. Same measurements, just a different colorway. Okay, I am going to be using the stripe from Relax into Summer. And I am now going to be, and I think I have to adjust that. I have to adjust that. It's 1.5 by 11. I'm going to be using a stripe because I don't have a sticker strip that's going to go down the side, such as this one is. I'm going to be using paper. So when I try to create this, I kind of lay them out and I say, what's going to work with this and what's going to work with this? What other papers do I have? And then I come together just using some of the papers and things from another collection. Okay, so these are some of the colors that I'm going to be using. And I'm also going to be showing you how for these little pieces here, you can actually use mats from your mat packs, these smaller ones. All we have to do is adjust this smaller piece here from 4x6 to 4.5x6 because some of these are a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to give you all the measurements as we go along. We're going to need 2 tonal for your base. And as I said, the inner base is really optional. If you're going to put another layer on, then that has to measure 10 by 12. Okay, so 10 by 12, I mean 10 by 11, sorry, if you're going to be using an inner base. And what I mean by that is, you see on this, I have the white cardstock, then I have another tonal, and then I have my 2 colors for my piece. But that is optional. That piece there is optional. Okay? Okay, so here is my base. Now what I want to do is I want to start with my stripe. I'm going to start with my stripe. And my stripe has to measure 1.5 by 11. And I need that 2 times. 1.5 by 11, 2 times. Okay, so 1.5. And then I'm going to do another 1.5. Okay, and then I'm going to stack them on top of each other. And I'm just going to cut them off by 1 inch. Okay. And that's going to become my outer edge. Okay, now I have another piece. If you are using a sticker strip, that's fine. If you don't have a sticker strip to separate that, I am using a 1/2 inch strip 2 times. 1/2 inch by 12, 2 times. Okay, so 1/2 inch by 12. And a 1/2 inch by 12. Okay, so you see how that's coming together, how we're recreating that piece. Okay, now for my bottom, my 2 bottom mats, the long pieces. Okay, so I'm creating these long pieces now. We need those to measure 9.5 by 4 inches, 2 times. 9.5 by 4 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to open my arm. I'm going to measure this at 9.5 inches. Okay, 9.5. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it to the side and I'm going to cut this at 4 inches 2 times. Okay, this now becomes my 2 bottom layers. Okay, so you see how nicely that's coming together. And then my upper pieces here, which are 4x6, you can certainly cut them at 4x6. So here's your option. You can cut two 6x4s. Okay. However, if you are using, because the other smaller pieces to the side of them are 2x4s, if you plan to use the small mats that you still have in your possession, or smaller mats that you have from your Creative Memories collections, those will measure 4.5 in height. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust this to 6x4.5 so I can use these mats as that extra piece, and that's going to give me that nice look there. Okay, so I'm going to make this 6x4.5. All right, now this paper has a direction, so I need to turn it because it has a direction to the pattern. Let me double check how big this is. This is, okay, so I'm going to do this at 6 inches. Just looking at the pattern, make sure I got that right. 6 inches, and then I'm going to turn it, and the side is going to be 4.5, and the other side is going to be 4.5. Okay, and now it's the same size as the height of what I am going to be using for my two pieces, my two side pieces. And those measure 2x4 or 2x4.5. 2x4.5. Okay, so I'll go over the measurements with you again. You've got your two base pages. Okay, you've got your stripe. Your stripe measures 1.5 by 11. The stripe is 1.5 by 11 for your stripe. Your piece that goes down to separate the stripe is 1/2 inch by 12, so it's 1/2 by 12. And that's the red strip that I have. Your bottom layer is 9.5 by 4. I can't find that sticker. It's 9.5 by 4 inches. Okay, and then your upper pieces are either going to be 6x4s, and these are 2x4s, or these are going to be 6x4.5, and this is going to be 2x4.5. So it just depends on the height of what you're using. Okay, so you can't see this little pattern that I'm using. It's a cute little lobster and kind of a tropical pattern. It's got lobsters, it's got lemons, it's cute little Mediterranean. I love this pack. It's called Relax into Summer. It's not really so much a summery pack. I've used it a lot for vacations. Okay, so let's get started. I think the easiest thing to do is to start with this one little strip here. I'm going to line my papers up, make sure they're really lined up on my 13 by 13 mat. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just put a little dab of repo tape in the corner so that it doesn't keep moving around, and it just makes it easier for me to work with it. Okay, just a little bit of repo tape right at the top two corners. You don't have to do the whole thing. And then when I'm done, I always just rub it off with this little eraser that Creative Memories has. Okay, so the easiest thing to do, I'm just going to move this up so I can access my silicone mat. I'm going to start with this I'm going to start with the red, this 1/2 inch strip. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is going to really make my mark here. And I'm going to line this up at the 2-inch mark. Okay, the 2-inch mark, top and bottom. 2-inch mark, top and bottom. That really sets my perimeters. 2-inch mark, top and bottom. So it's inside of the 2-inch mark, so that when you go to put your 1.5-inch strip, it will line right up to there. Okay, now my 2 stripe strips, which measure 1.5 by 11, are going to go next. And you see they're going to go right next to your 1/2-inch strip line and a 1/2 inch down from the top on both sides. Okay, 1/2 inch down from the top on both sides. Okay, if you are using a stripe, make sure that you have the same stripe at the top on both pages. Okay, a 1/2 inch down from the top on both sides. And you can see it right here on your mat, especially now that it's not moving around. Okay, now we're ready for our bigger strip. And that is going to go exactly 1 inch up from the bottom. 1 inch up from the bottom. On both sides, and it's going to go right next to the middle. And it's going to match right to that 1/2 inch strip that you have. See? One inch up from the bottom and right there at that 1/2 inch strip. See how it's really coming together now. Okay, and then our next ones are going to be at about, now remember I made mine a 1/2 inch bigger. The other one I started 2 inches down from the top. So I'm just going to start this one at 1.5 inches down from the top and a 1/2 inch in. Okay. Ooh, I should have seen this one. I kind of like the red on that, but I've already put tape on it. Oh well. 1.5 inches down from the top. So because I cut this one a 1/2 inch bigger, a 1/2 inch longer, so that it would go with my mat remnant that I cut in half. And that's how you can use up some of your pieces. One side is going to become a nice cluster, and the other side you can use for your titles for that side. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so now we're just ready to add the other side, which is 2 by 4 or 2 by 4.5, depending what you have. Okay, and that's the base of the page. And now all I'm going to do is decorate, and I'm going to use several Creative Memories summer and beach collections. They all coordinate, regardless if you have them from several different collections. Everything coordinates, and that's what I love about the collections. You don't have to, doesn't all have to match up. And I will show you what this is going to look like when I think I'm going to put the word paradise up here. Yeah, so these are from several different summer collections. Relax in Summer, the new beach scenes. Some of this was from Sun Soaked. They all coordinate together. The word paradise. And there we go. I might put a little seashell here just to finish that off. Okay, now we had something on the left side. I mean, the right side. I'm going to be using beach bums with the umbrella. So just a cute little scenes here. And then I'm going to do something down here with a sandcastle, a little red crab, maybe the blue starfish, and the words "fun in the sun." Okay, and I'm just going to put seashells and sun right here. And we're done. Just need to add a few dots. Again, I'm going to use the bold tip or the thicker point on our dual tip pens. Remember, these pens are archival, so you don't have to worry about them fading or bleeding into your pages. Okay, so this is what, oh, I gotta lift this up, and now I'm going to just erase it, erase a little bit of that repositionable tape. If you don't have one of these erasers, sometimes you can rub it with your fingers and it will actually come off. Okay, so that's what the top of that one looks like. Paradise, sea, sun, and sand, and then seashells and sun. And then this side, it says beach bums, and then the sandcastle and the crabs. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed variation on page kit 8. Tell me which one you like better. Here is the summer, and that's relax into summer, and several different collections of stickers from Creative Memories. This one is spring, and this is the actual page kit number 8, which is more of a picnic kind of a scene. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my technique class. If you're not currently working with a Creative Memories advisor, I'd appreciate if you would order from my website. Information's in the comments. If you're looking to join a team, please join my team. Information's on the website. I do support a national team. We have a lot of fun sharing ideas, and I hope to see you again soon. Bev DeBono Designs on YouTube. Bye-bye.